Now we turn to a powerful journey of self-discovery, resilience, and the pursuit of true prosperity. Erika Greenwood's story is a testament to the strength that comes from embracing one's own path despite the challenges that may come along the way. Erika has learned to define wealth not just in terms of money, but in the peace of mind and freedom that come with living authentically. Let's listen in.
I am Erika Greenwood, and this is my story of Against All Odds. I am a trained accountant. I am a CPA. I work for a large pharmaceutical company merging the areas of finance and IT. So I create business processes for the financial community. I've always wanted to write an accounting book. That was really the first book that I thought about writing. So when I had the opportunity to contribute a chapter into Against All Odds, I was excited to do it. And I like to talk about money. And I know it's hard for a lot of people to talk about money, but I love talking about money and learning about money. So I wanted to use it as an opportunity to share my journey with people so that they could trust me in order to talk about money with them, because I'm sharing a lot about myself in the book. Excellence is a theme that kind of permeated my childhood. I was really smart, I still am smart. I tested really highly on an IQ test. And so based on that, my mother got me into swimming and piano lessons and art classes. And I also, at the age of probably 8 or 9, took a collegiate level Spanish class and did pretty well. I mean, my mom at the time was in class to complete her master's degree in counseling. And so she would drop me off at class at Indiana University in South Bend. And she'd stay here until I come back. And then she'd come back to get me after her class. And I passed the class, so I guess I did okay as an 8 or 9-year-old in a collegiate level class. My sister and I were latchkey kids. And so when we would get home from school, my mom was still at work. She would tend to cook for the week. And so sometimes whatever she made, on Sunday, didn't last the whole week. So we might have green beans and corn for dinner, or we might have eggs or something. And I thought that meant that we were lacking in resources as a 9 or 10-year-old. We had what we needed, but my mom was also a health food nut, so we just didn't have a lot of things that other kids had, like potato chips and all the snacks, unless my paternal grandmother was around, and we had, lots of unhealthy snacks. I was challenged with developing a woman's body as a 9-year-old. And so that meant that clothes were really hard for my mother to find, because most of the things that fit my body were, clothes for women, not for children. And so I didn't have a lot of clothes. I was able to wear some of my mother's clothes. I was even, wearing my mother's bras, in the 4th grade. So that was definitely a challenge. And I also took that to mean that, we were lacking in resources because I did not have all the clothes that, some of my other classmates have or had. I also was not allowed to wear black because it was seen as being super mature. I couldn't wear black till I was 14, nor lipstick or eyeliner or any other makeup until I was about 14. When I was 12, my mom and my bonus dad got married, and then things were easier. Number one, because she had help, and number two, because it was another resource in the family. And I remember them talking about debt and the kind of debt they were in and working to pay it off between the two of them. So I definitely felt, challenged in resources. We always had a house. That was never a problem, but I know that my mom struggled being a single mom before she and my bonus dad got married. I come from a family of teachers, and when we were on school break, like maybe spring break or summer break, I would go to Michigan where I had aunts that also taught. And I would always go to school with my aunt because they started school later, so they were in school longer than we were. And so I would go with her and help her teach her kindergarten class. And I loved teaching. I also knew that teachers didn't make a lot of money. And so although I think I would have liked that career, I chose not to enter the teaching profession because I wanted to make a lot of money. I wanted to have all the clothes, whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. In high school, I was given the opportunity to take an accounting lab, and it was set up just like an accounting office would be. I did balance sheets, income statements, statement of cash flows. We also had to dress like we were going to the office, meaning no jeans. The most high schoolers like to wear jeans, but we couldn't wear jeans on those days unless you wanted to wear jeans and then change for class, which some kids did. I just, wore whatever. But I loved accounting. It was like math, only, and puzzles, because the math is pretty simple. It's about when you add this or when you subtract this from your T account or your income statement. So I fell in love with accounting, but it was like, because I was good in math, I had also gone to engineering camps. And so I had to make the decision, do I want to focus on accounting or do I want to focus on engineering? I happened to take a physics class and also a calculus class. I didn't like either of those very much. And in fact, I think I dropped both of them. And I was like, if I go into engineering, I'm going to have a lot of these classes. And so I chose to focus on accounting. I went to Indiana University, majored in accounting, did very well. I've got scholarships. Most of my undergraduate was paid for with scholarships. So I was fortunate to come out of school with no debt, thanks to my parents and all the scholarships that I received. So that's kind of how wanting to change my perceived status as a young child influenced my career. I arrived at my personal definition of prosperity and true wealth based on the experiences that I had, that everyone told me that these were the kinds of things you should do, or these are the kinds of things you should have to be successful. So one of the things was to be in management. After I got my MBA in marketing, I went to a pharmaceutical company in the Midwest where I still work today. And it was like, hey, you've got an MBA, you're supposed to be a manager. And it took me a really long time to get to that status or to that level. And when I got there, it wasn't the work that was so bad, but it was the people management that I didn't really like. I didn't like being accountable for other people's actions. If I broke it, fine, I will fix it. We'll go above and beyond to fix it. But to be accountable for things I didn't request or didn't even know about sometimes really was hard for me. And I found that I was so unhappy in that job. I was miserable. There was a time when I was just like, if I have an accident, I won't have to go to work today. I'm going 70, 80, 90 miles an hour thinking if I have an accident, I won't have to go to work today. And there was one particular morning, it was a cold and crispy December day, where I just didn't want to go to work for some reason. I kept hitting the alarm clock, the snooze button, 9 more minutes. And finally I was like, I got to get up, I have a meeting. So I got dressed. I was always one of the best dressed, designer clothes from head to toe, the best shoes, the best makeup, funky haircut, kind of also satisfying my childhood dream, to have all the clothes that my Barbie doll had. I did that and I had it, but I still wasn't happy. Work was just so hard. And I get in the car, I'm on the highway, speeding down, trying to get to work for my meeting. And all of a sudden we're stopped. Oh, great, I'm gonna be late. As the rubberneckers do, looking to see what's going on, making traffic go even slower. I started to feel this this warmth, this heat. I was hot, but it was like probably 20 degrees. It was dry, but it was 20 degrees. So I had a coat on. I had to take off my coat. I started to smell burning rubber, and I didn't know where it was coming from because I'm slowly going down the highway. At this point, I'm only at 2 or 3 miles per hour. And finally, 3 lanes ahead, or 3 lanes across, ahead of me, I could see a car engulfed in flames. And the car was all the way smoked out. I mean, the car was all black. There were still flames that I could see inside the car. And I remember thinking, those people don't have to go to work today. And I'm like, am I kind of jealous? But then I thought, but those people probably don't get to go home either. And that really hit me. And I was like, I cannot drive down the highway at 80 plus miles an hour thinking if I have an accident, I won't have to go to work today. I mean, how many times does God show you what you're praying for? And I just didn't know that could be the result of my prayer, my mantra, my prayer. I would say it all the time. So I went into work and I was just kind of out of it. Like, I cannot believe that was my prayer. And it was a couple weeks and I was wrestling with, can I quit? Because all I could see with quitting was not being able to pay my bills and getting evicted. And I mean, maybe I was being a drama queen and over exaggerating, but that's what I pictured. And it took me back to when I was young and feeling like I didn't have enough. And so I thought, I have to do this. I hate it, but I have to do it. And then as I wrestled with it for weeks, I was like, I can't do this. So I went to, my boss in our year in review that was not going well. And I was like, I hate it here. I want to quit. I don't like it. And, she was like, okay. And I knew that she was going to tell her boss. And so that was on a Friday. On Monday, I went to her boss and I was like, can I talk to you? And he said, yeah. And so I told him what was going on, that I wanted to leave. And he said, hold on. What do you want to do? And can you give me some time? Don't do anything drastic. And so it probably took a couple of months, and then he actually found me something else, doing what I like to do, building systems, creating processes for the financial team, using IT resources, and I was back to my happy place. And so for me, that's how I really discovered that peace is the biggest reward. Peace is true value and true prosperity and wealth. What good is a lot of money when you're not at peace? There are so many people with a lot of money that are struggling. Money isn't all of your value. It's a tool, and some people will have more tools than other people, but that's not just who you are. Your soul and your spirit determine who you are. Your ability to help people and desire to help people and love people and care for people, that's what makes you who you are, not just money. So by, getting jobs that I didn't like and not being happy, I kind of found my peace. Embracing who I really am has impacted my approach to my life and my career by just kind of like helping me know what home base is. By embracing my inner geek, I know what makes me happy. Like, I like doing Excel spreadsheets. They're going to be in full color, but I can do formulas and it actually relaxes me. And so my geek level, my geek quality, it makes me happy. And so I have to embrace what makes me happy and what relaxes me. What good is it to have all these things and someone else you're trying to be, to look like someone else that you're trying to be, and not actually be happy? Being happy and at peace is the most important. So I just have to embrace my inner geek.
Erika's story is a powerful reminder that true wealth is not just about financial success, but about finding peace, embracing who you are, and staying true to your own definition of success. Erika's resilience in the face of challenges and her commitment to defining her own path in life is truly motivating.